Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to Dr. ROSILAWATI. My name is Muhammad Nur Alif Bin Norwan Chik. My student ID is 2025157651. So today I will be presenting my EDU550 video presentation titled Classroom Management for Students with Varied Learning Styles. So basically this study focuses on how teachers manage classrooms where students have different learning styles, abilities and learning pace, which is a common challenge in real classroom settings. So the main objective of this study is to explore how teachers manage classrooms that consist of students with diverse learning styles and abilities. The objective of this study is to identify the types of learning styles present in a classroom, and we want to explore strategies used by teachers to manage students with varied learning styles. And I want to investigate the challenges faced by teachers when handling students with diverse learning styles. In terms of research gap, the first one, limited qualitative insight into real classroom practices. And then the second one is focus less on teachers' practical strategies. And then the last one, insufficient discuss on the challenges teachers face in mixed ability classrooms. So this study attempts to address these gaps through the qualitative interviews. So moving on to the literature review. For the literature review, three main articles were selected. The first article by Guinon Tao and Ferrano, 2025, which discusses on how teachers' classroom management styles influence students' motivation. The study found that supportive strategies such as encouragement and positive reinforcement increase students' engagement and willingness to participate. So basically, this supports my research question 2 and research question 3, particularly regarding motivation and behavior. And then for the second article by Kumar and Liu, 2019, highlights the challenges in classroom management, especially when handling students with different learning needs. So the articles noted issues such as time constraints, uneven attention, and teacher stress, which aligns closely with the challenges reported by teachers in my study. And then for the last article by Aula 2014, explains the strong relationship between students' learning styles and also the teaching styles. It shows that students learn more effectively when teaching methods align with their learning preferences, which, by the way, supports my research question 1 and also research question 2. Moving on to the theories supporting the study. So there are three major theories that support this study. The first one, Bandura's social connective theory. This theory explains that learning occurs through interaction between personal factors, behavior, and the environment. Students learn by observing teachers and peers, receiving feedback, and experiencing reinforcement. This explains why positive reinforcement and encouragement were effective strategies used by teachers in this study. And then for the second theory, Vygotsky's socio-cultural theory and zone of proximal development emphasize that learning is a social process. Teachers support students by scaffolding tasks and adjusting instruction based on students' ability levels. This directly explains the mentor-mentee approach and differentiated tasks used by teachers. And then the last theory, which is the Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory, highlights that students' learning and behavior are influenced by factors beyond the classroom, such as family and emotional background. This theory helps explain why teachers adjust their strategies based on students' emotional well-being and home environment. Moving on to the methodology. So basically, this study adopted a qualitative research design using semi-structured interviews. Data were collected through online interviews, transcribed, and analyzed using thematic analysis. So there were two participants. The first one, Puan Siti Halimatul Sadia, an English teacher with 19 years of experience. And then the second participant, Encik Muhammad Fakrul Shazwan, a visual arts teacher and also a music teacher with 5 years of teaching experience. So these are the interview questions. So as you can see, the first research questions, what are the first research questions? What are the types of learning styles in a classroom? And there are 3 additional questions. What kind of differences do you usually see among your students? What learning styles are most common among your students? Do you have students who learn faster or slower than others? How do you identify them? And then second research questions, what are the strategies used when managing students with varied learning styles? 3 questions in it. The first one, what teaching methods do you use to support students with different learning styles? How do you adjust your lessons for fast learners and slow learners? And then what strategies help you keep our students engaged during lessons? And then the last one, between reinforcement and punishment, which method do you use more and why? And then the last research question 3, what are some of the challenges faced when handling students with varied learning styles? The first one, which student behaviors are the most difficult to manage and why? The second one, how do you handle situations when some students are disengaged or unmotivated? And then the last one, what challenges do you face when planning set lessons for diverse learners and mixed abilities? So these are the 3 research questions that I asked for my interviewee. And then for the findings, for the similarities and differences, as you can see, in terms of similarities, both teachers identified mixed proficiency levels. They recognize visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learners, and then they use blended teaching methods. They prioritize the students' motivation, and then they also prefer reinforcement over punishment. However, for the differences, the English teacher focus more on language proficiency levels and use a mentor-mentee approach to support weaker students, while the visual art teacher, Encik Fakrul, focus more on creativity and imagination, using diagnostics tasks and believing that learning speed depends on students' willingness, depends on the students themselves.
Teacher. So for the second one, what learning styles are the most common one among your students?
So
common one because we have different style of learning kan. Yes, we have like what I have given just now. We have those who like to listen, those who like to see something, those who like to do, like they prefer to write and to read, and some of them they prefer to listen. Okay, but I can see that most of them prefer to do. They prefer to do the task instead of listening. So when I explain things, they don't really pay attention. But when I ask them to complete the task, they will straightly do it. But however, yeah, they got a few students who prefer to listen to the teachers because they don't like to write. Some students, they don't prefer to do the task given. But most of them, when you say common, most common among the students, they prefer to do it. Maybe.
Teacher, so for the second one, what learning styles are the most common one among your students?
Common one because we have different style of learning kan. Yes, we have like what I have given just now. We have those who like to listen, those who like to see something, those who like to do, like they prefer to write and to read, and some of them they prefer to listen. Okay, but I can see that.
So dari situ Alif, contohlah dalam kelas saya, kelas minor ada 40 orang pelajar. Okay, ada 40 orang pelajar. So daripada 40 orang tu, kita nak tengok berapa ramai yang pertama, berapa ramai boleh membayangkan, boleh membayangkan, okay, boleh berjelaskan macam mana bentuk kotak tu, cube tu. Yang kedua, kita boleh tengok berapa ramai pelajar yang akan bertanya. Okay, berapa ramai yang akan bertanya secara direct. Maksudnya kita dapat tengok dia punya tahap imajinasi ataupun cara dia berfikir mungkin lebih rendah daripada orang yang boleh berimajinasi dan boleh berfikir. Okay. Yang ketiga, kita akan dapat lihat juga pelajar yang memang dia trust, which is dia jam lah. Dia mungkin kotak pun dia tak bayangkan kotak tu apa. Dan respon mereka selalunya pelajar yang macam ni, kalau perasan ada 3 level tadi yang dah boleh imajinasi tu dia terus fikir. Yang kedua, dia tak boleh imajinasi tapi dia lebih kepada bertanya. Okay. Yang ketiga ni pelajar yang memang dia lost, which is dia tak boleh nak bayang dan dia pun tak boleh nak bertanya. Itu lebih kepada kita tengok pada confident dia orang lah. Kadang ada murid yang memang tak nak beritahu pun tentang lukisan yang kita nak suruh lukis. So that dia orang tak nak apa kata, dia orang tak nak pun bekerja keras untuk fikir macam mana bentuk tu. Okay. So apa yang kita akan lihat daripada yang saya punya kita panggil seindaksi. Kalau saya gunakan, so dari situ ada contohlah dalam kelas saya kelas minus ada 40 orang pelajar.
Clear answer
so daripada 40 orang tu kita nak tengok berapa ramai yang pertama, berapa ramai boleh membayangkan, boleh membayangkan, boleh berjelas macam mana bentuk kotak tu.
There are some students that are willing to learn, some students that
berapa ramai pelajar yang akan
slower,
bertanya,
some students they do
berapa
not
ramai
even
yang akan
want to do.
bertanya secara direct.
So
Maksudnya
he
kita
did not
dapat
really give
tengok
a
dia punya tahap
clear answer
imajinasi
of which
ataupun cara
one
dia berfikir
in
mungkin lebih
his
rendah
classroom,
daripada
which
orang yang
learning
boleh
styles
berimajinasi
are
dan
the most
berfikir.
common one.
Okay. Yang ketiga,
And then when we look at the data analysis and discussion, so basically the findings showed that classrooms consist of visual learners, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learners. And then there are also fast learners and also slow learners. And then there are also students with different motivation levels and confidence. And then when we look at the strategies used, both teachers or in general teachers use blended teaching. They also use group work. They use differentiated tasks, storytelling, and also positive reinforcement. And then when we look at the challenges faced by these teachers, they face low students' motivation, disengaged students or distracted students, and then they also face attention-seeking behavior by students, and then they faces difficulty in balancing fast and slow learners, and then regarding lesson planning for students. And then when we look at the findings to support my findings with evidence from theories or literature. So basically, according to Shahni and Wandira, 2023, teachers use demonstrations, multimedia, group work, and differentiated instructions to cater to varied learning preferences in the classrooms. And then instructional strategies were intentionally tailored to visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learner needs to enhance engagement and understanding. So these are the strategies that teachers use to manage students with different learning styles, according to Shahni and Wandira. And then for the challenges that teachers face when handling students with different learning styles, Charuman et al. 2025 said that challenges included difficulty in assessing students' differences, limited planning time, and managing large class sizes, making it hard to tailor to instruction. And then he also said that even with teacher knowledge of differentiated learning, implementation was hindered by lack of institutional support, resources, and assessment tools. So for the conclusion, for the summary part, so basically classrooms consist of students with varied learning styles and abilities, and then teachers use blended and flexible strategies. Student motivation also plays a key role in learning success. And then managing mixed ability classrooms remains a challenging part for the teachers. And then positive reinforcement is more effective compared to punishment. And then For the recommendation part, we need to, it is recommended to continue using the differentiated and blended strategies. And then we have to focus more on the motivation and also the emotional support for the students. And then the institutional support is also important for the teachers with training on differentiated instruction. And then we also have to provide professional development on mixed ability teaching. And then we have to encourage more peer mentoring systems. For the future research, we have to have a larger sample size. And then we have to also include the students' perspectives. And then we can use more classroom observation methods. And then we need to compare more on the different subjects and school types. So these are the references that I use for my study, and I believe that's all from me. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much, Doctor.